Good morning on this beautiful, beautiful morning. And you can see my little saltwater pond there. The tide is coming in on the other side of that bank of pebbles, pebble bank, and it filters through into this and makes a pond. They're very beautiful, isn't it? Looks like something out of World of Warcraft. Yes. How? Good morning. It is Easter. Happy Easter. Yeah, it's a sort of basically it's a Christian festival that actually was adopted over a pagan festival, but it's still a festival and a thing. And we have tourism coming back to our area. You can see by the detritus that they leave around. Please, if you're visiting anywhere, do not leave your rubbish, especially something as beautiful and as pristine as where I live. Okay? I haven't made many videos recently. I'll take that away. I haven't made many videos recently because I'm afraid I've not been quite well enough to get out to here. It's a little bit of a stretch for me to sort of like get myself out to here, like the walk and everything like that. And I hadn't felt well enough to get this far and make a video and what have you. And I've been spending an inordinate amount of time actually in bed. So, but hopefully things are going to change for a little while, and fingers crossed, eh? Fingers crossed. Anyway, Bakhmut. Yes, the Ukraine war has sort of fallen off the front pages of the tabloids and the mainstream media. It's not sort of mentioned much in the mainstream media. Not that I'm a follower of the mainstream media, it's just that I like to keep half an eye on it just to see what's going on. It's been reduced to sort of articles in the broadsheets like the Financial Times and the Times and the Telegraph and things like that. And I don't buy those papers. I don't buy any papers, and I don't watch any news. But I do have access to sort of like articles and things like that that I can get my hands on. I have a Telegram channel that I follow some Russian people directly, and even have access to some people from the Wagner group who are actually fighting in Bakhmut. Now, this is not thing. This is only my opinion, but it looks like the Russians, they control 80% of Bakhmut, and it's sort of like Zelensky sort of said repeatedly and several times that Bakhmut will never fall. And, basically, if Bakhmut falls, we've lost the war. If Bakhmut falls, they haven't lost the war, I don't think particularly. In fact, I think Bakhmut is a sort of like a political thing more than strategic at the moment, because any strategic advantages that the Ukrainians had for holding Bakhmut is now being lost to the Russians. So the last northwestern bit of it that they're holding on to with a vast amount of well-equipped army and everything like that they're fighting is political. Now, the Russians want to have the whole of Bakhmut before the 9th of May. And the Ukrainians want to stop them having the whole of Bakhmut before the 9th of May. And after the 9th of May, if the Ukrainians still hold on to a bit of Bakhmut, I can probably bet that I'll probably put my bottom dollar that they'll just leave it after the 9th of May, as long as they hold on to something by the 9th of May. Because the 9th of May is Victory Day in Russia, and they have all their celebrations and things, and it'd be really good to have a victory in Bakhmut, the Battle of Bakhmut, to be victorious by that time. It would be politically very, very good for Putin and good for everybody in Russia, and it'd be good for the morale. So I think, currently there is a shitstorm going down. It's street fighting. It's it's building to building to building, and as the Ukrainians have to sort of leave buildings, they're booby trapping them, really really effectively. So it's a nightmare for the Russians and it's a nightmare for the Ukrainians. But this battle is happening and it's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of lives lost. And it's all for politics, really. It's not for thing. It's got down to a political thing. So whether or not the Russians completely take Bakhmut by the 9th of May is something I can't say, really. But I think they're going to have a bloody good go at it. They've not only got the Wagner group in there, they've got crack paratrooper troops from the main army and a couple of divisions in there from other parts of the thing. So they're reinforcing their troops in Bakhmut now with quite a sort of like a heavy number of troops. And when they attack the Ukrainians, they attack them in numbers at the moment. So they're attacking sort of like with an advantage of sort of 4 or 5 to 1 against the Ukrainians defending, which is how you take a town or a city. But anyway, that's all I've been able to glean from the sort of Ukraine. There've been much talk of an offensive in spring from the Ukrainians in the Zaporozhye region. I mean, they've got lots of options, and whether or not that's going to happen, I can't say. It's whether or not the Ukrainians have got the equipment to do it and the manpower to do it, I cannot say. But there are commentators out there that reckon that they do have. And so that could be a major offensive because their idea is to cut the Russian lines in two, so they separate the north and the south, and they can go right through to Crimea. And if they get through to Crimea, then they can actually sort of say, right, okay, Ruskies, we negotiate now. That would be when. But if that doesn't happen, or if that gets repelled, then there's an all merry hell can break loose as well. If that doesn't happen, if they do that offensive and it fails, then we're looking at Poland coming in and annexing. I mean, the long and the short of it, Poland's going to come in as a sort of like a peacekeeping force and things like that. But the only reason Poland's coming in is because they want some of Ukraine's land. Now, I've had an argument online with the Britisher over that, and he's sort of saying I'm talking out my arse. But mark my words, I'm not. If Poland put officially, they've already got about 20,000 people on the ground in Ukraine. But if they officially do it, they're going for land because Ukraine can't pay them for saving them. So the only way they can pay them is by giving them land. And once Poland gets land up of Ukraine, that opens the door for a shed load of more disputes right the way through Europe. Because there's a lot of other countries, especially in the Baltics and things down there, countries that have been put there since the Second World War and saying, like, these are your borders now, these are your borders. But there's land there's disputes all over this. And basically, if Poland gets some of Ukraine, they say, well, if Poland's got Ukraine, why can't we have this? And it basically opens the door for a whole bunch of other conflicts. Anyway, that's basically what you do when you're not very well and you're sitting in bed. You have a good look around the geopolitical thing that's going on. Trump's, I don't know anything about. I can't work out. I can't fathom out the old Trump thing. I don't know whether it's a bonus or a negative for Trump. Actually, to be quite honest, we all know it's a sort of like a kangaroo court, and it's a bollocks sort of like thing. But well done, Joe Biden. You've had your political opposition arrested, just like Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, Chairman Mao did. That's where you are. That's in the play you're playing with. And Pol Pot. and Zelensky, let's not forget. Peace and love, people. Stay cool, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.